Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A Pure Water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the polls are closing now in a quartet of by-elections across the country.
All eyes are on Annan Town in North Clarendon and Morant Bay in East St. Thomas.
At the end of the day, we are prepared to celebrate.
It's a lot of work. Expect the work to pay off.
Director of Elections Glaspell Brown says turnout has been mixed, with Northwest St. Andrew recording just 5% up to 2 this afternoon.
Annan Town seems to be coming out in excess of 40%, Morant Bay in excess of 28%. St. Andrew North is looking a little bit low at 4 o'clock. Trelawney Southern is close to 20%.
Cafe reports voter intimidation in Clarendon.
Everett Warmington launches racially charged attack against the opposition leader.
I said repeatedly, they claim Sia was a white man and shouldn't lead us, and they'll see me all over the south. I talk about this now, they want this a white man.
In news from the rest of the world, the Bahamas to refinance part of its debt to protect its famous turquoise waters.
NATO and Ukraine to hold emergency talks after Russia's attack with new hypersonic missiles.
In headline sports, 2 batsmen dismissed in 90s as West Indies take charge in the first test against Bangladesh in Antigua.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, polls are closing across the country in by-elections in Northwest St. Andrew, South Trelawney, the Annan Town and Morant Bay divisions. We'll bring you the very latest from across the island.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, should Vuvuzela horns be banned from all public events? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, we'll bring you analysis on the preliminary results from today's by-elections.
And at 8, it's the A-Team with Dennis Brooks.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, it's Friday, November 22, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by Fostrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Polls are closing at this hour in a quartet of by-elections across the country. Voters went to the polls to fill parliamentary vacancies in Northwest St. Andrew and South Trelawney. The vacancies in the Annan Town division in North Clarendon and Morant Bay in East St. Thomas were also on Friday's slate of by-elections. Both parties are expressing confidence in their chances, Mahiri Stewart reports.
With the People's National Party, PNP, boycotting the parliamentary by-elections in Northwest St. Andrew and South Trelawney, the political battle lines are drawn in Annan Town in Clarendon and Morant Bay in St. Thomas. An array of big wigs, workers and supporters from both major political parties fanned out across the municipal divisions as voters trickled in to cast their ballots. At 2 this afternoon, voter turnout in Annan Town was 40%, while Morant Bay reported a turnout of just over 28%. The JLP's Suzette Barton says Labourites will be celebrating when the votes are counted in Annan Town tonight.
The campaign, it has been a very fruitful 3 weeks of campaigning. We were able to cover all the grounds, all 24 PDs, and the response has been overwhelming. So we have had hectic 3 weeks, but we are comfortable with the response that we have been receiving on the ground.
So at the end of the day, you will be the councillor for the Annan Town division.
Let's put it this way. At the end of the day, we are prepared to celebrate.
But her challenger, Delroy Dawson, says he's confident the work he's done will return a victory for the PNP.
It's a lot of work. Expect the work to pay off. You know, it's a very crucial election. Both sides are here. The Prime Minister is here, the opposition is here, so it's not just me alone, it's both sides.
The PNP is seeking to wrest the division from the JLP. The Labourites won in the February local government elections by 92 votes. A PNP victory would result in a tie in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. In the East, the PNP's Rosemary Shaw accused Labourites of going on a rampage aimed at intimidating her supporters.
Supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party really went on a rampage of intimidation. And I tried to sort of provide that leadership to tell them we're not going down that road because those are dark days of the 80s politics. And we really don't need that because after tomorrow, we will all be here and we will have to live together as one.
The JLP's Darrell Vaz, who was deployed in East St. Thomas to organize in the Dumfries area, says the party's machinery was making a final push in the hour leading up to the close of polls.
So what is always good in a by-election is when you have the whole team working together from outside of the parish, the area council and outside. Right. So we really are very good at by-elections. Our record in by-elections are good, and I'm hoping that will hold. But it takes organization, it takes unity of purpose, and therefore, when you look at the numbers, we are much better off than we were before. So let's just hope and pray, but looking forward to good news later.
The Labourites will have to overturn a margin of more than 200 votes to claim victory tonight. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Electoral Office of Jamaica reported less than 20% in the two parliamentary by-elections up to 2 this afternoon. In Northwest St. Andrew, a paltry 5% was reported, while only 18% turnout was reported in South Trelawney. We go live now to our reporter in South Trelawney, Shaloy Smichael, for the latest at the close of polls. Good afternoon, Shaloy.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon to our listeners. I hope you're hearing me clearly.
Hearing you clearly.
They are coming in, and so it's beginning to get a bit noisy. But I am close by to the EOJ's office right here in South Trelawney in Albertown, where the ballot boxes are set to come in order to begin the preliminary count. It's been a pretty slow day. We went to several polling stations. I was at the Albertown Primary School in the Albertown Division a few minutes ago, and I think up to about 4:50 thereabouts, only 4 voters were outside. So it's been a slow day.
Mm-hmm. And were you able to get a word with the JLP's Marissa Dalrymple Philibert or her independent challenger?
Yes, I was able to get a word in with both Mrs. Philibert and the independent candidate, Lloyd Gillings. Now, Mr. Gillings, he remained confident that history will be created and that he will be the next member of parliament. And he also told us that his first act is to tackle road and water conditions that he says is plaguing the constituency. And when we asked Mrs. Philibert as it relates to the low voter turnout, she informed us that majority of her constituents are farmers. And so some of them would have missed the opportunity to cast their votes because they would have already left for the market and won't be returning until Saturday, Sunday.
All right, so we'll wait to hear what the final turnout there in South Trelawney is. Thank you so much, Shaloy. We go now to our Calicia Wright, who is in Northwest St. Andrew. Good afternoon, Calicia.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, listeners.
So the EOJ is reporting very low turnout in the constituency today. What were you hearing from the voters and the party workers?
Yes, so it was a very low turnout today. We went to at least 17 of the 20 locations for voting, and we saw right across the board that the voter turnout was very low. Workers were very relaxed, and they were anticipating that more voters would come out later on in the evening, but that did not change. The voter turnout remained low. I spoke to workers. They were not surprised by the voter turnout. They said that this is a by-election and you don't normally see a large turnout. However, they were still anticipating more voters. I spoke to some voters. They were very optimistic about the results. They believe that the JLP candidate, Dwayne Smith, he will be the member of parliament for this constituency, and they are looking forward to changes in their area, especially as it relates to the poor road infrastructure. I also spoke to others. They were not so familiar with the candidates, but they wanted to exercise their democratic right, and they hope that after this election, they will see more of the candidate that becomes the MP tonight.
All right. Thank you so much. That's Khaleesi Wright in Northwest St. Andrew. Keep us posted on any further developments as the counting should get underway shortly.
Will do. Will do.
And continuing the news, Director of Elections Glaspel Brown says the day's events have gone smoothly with only a few minor issues. He spoke with Nationwide News just before the polls closed at 5 p.m. According to Mr. Brown, there's been no major incidents to report.
So far, up to 4 o'clock, everything seemed to have gone fairly well. The voting continues in some of the locations. But we anticipate that we'll be able to close all the polling stations by 5. But so far, I think we had a fairly good day. There were 1 or 2 issues that came to the fore. Regular issues in terms of persons complaining that the process was a bit slow. But that was as a result of a number of persons turning up without their new ID card, their renewed ID card, and therefore the process took a little bit longer.
He says voter turnout has been mixed in all 4 races.
So far, in and town seem to be coming out in excess of 40%, Moran Bay in excess of 28%. St. Andrew North is looking a little bit low at 4 o'clock. Trelawney Southern is close to 20%.
Glaspel Brown, Director of Elections.
And Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections CAFE has reported 1 instance of what they consider voter intimidation during today's by-elections. According to CAFE Deputy Chairman Anton Thompson, the incident took place in the Ainentown division. However, Mr. Thompson says he's yet to receive the full specifics.
One of the observers reported that they saw 1 incident of intimidation. That's all I can say. I don't know the nature of the intimidation, how serious it was, etc. One report came in. And all the other reports we got didn't indicate anything. No, it's not. It was 1 in that we have.
Anton Thompson, the Deputy Chairman of Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections. He added that the by-elections have otherwise remained incident-free.
Prime Minister and JLP leader Andrew Holness says his party will be investing heavily going forward in improving the quality of representation it provides to the Jamaican people. Mr. Holness has in recent days stressed the need for the JLP's elected representatives and candidates to improve the level of representation being provided at the constituency level.
As you know, I've been speaking about improving the level of representation that the party gives to the people, and that starts with candidate selection and candidate training. So we're going to be investing heavily in the standard setting for our representatives, and that will include things like the code of conduct, will include standard practices and procedures, integration of technology to keep connections with our voters and to improve the response time.
The matter of candidate quality looms large as the country nears the expected date of the general election. Speaking to journalists during today's by-election activities in Northwest St. Andrew, Holness says the political machinery of the JLP is in an advanced state of mobilization. He says the string of by-elections across the island should be seen as a warm-up exercise.
Jamaica is moving into the next chapter of its journey to economic independence and full development, and a part of that must be also ensure victory by having good organization. What we have seen with the Jamaica Labour Party over the last 10 years is that our ability to organize has improved significantly. I think you're essentially seeing that in the last couple of months, that the party is organizing, and these by-elections are like the keys.
JLP leader and Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Valued Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Valley Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
Here at Aslan Supercenter, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's 5 weeks till Christmas, and Aslan Supercenter has everything you need to start your shopping now. Choose from a wide selection of decorations, lights, and Christmas trees. Now's the time to pick up all your holiday needs before the rush. And stop by this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our 3-day pre-Christmas sale.
So this Christmas, make it Aslan Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Continuing the news. The Member of Parliament for South West St. Catherine, Everald Warmington, launched a racially charged broadside against the opposition leader Mark Golding on Thursday. Addressing the West Kingston Constituency Conference, Mr. Warmington said he would rather die than be led by a white British man. The controversial MP also urged the opposition leader to seek office in Britain where he believes he'd be more comfortable. Norgay Banton reports.
No white man can lead me. Everald Warmington made his displeasure clear about the prospect of PNP President Mark Golding becoming Prime Minister.
I said repeatedly, they claim Siago's a white man and shouldn't lead us, and they'll see me all over the south. I talk about this now, they want this a white man. So why you can talk about Siago all this year became white? And because a white man come, you saying can't lead Jamaica over me dead body. Over dead body. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
To loud cheers from the packed audience gathered at the Tivoli Gardens High School, Mr. Warmington urged Jamaicans to put Mr. Golding back on a boat and send him to England.
We are, as all while, we are descendants of the slaves. We don't want no descendant slave masters going to rule us again. We don't want it. In 1838, we threw off the chain and then got trench town and lift up chain and chain again. For what? We put me in a chain again? It's not going to happen. Jamaicans are so stupid. What we need to do, put him back on the banana boat and send him back to England.
It was revealed that Mr. Golding was a British citizen by descent. He's since renounced his British citizenship after much public outcry. The South West St. Catherine MP told Labourites that the opposition leader only selfishly bowed to public pressure. He says Mr. Golding should seek office back in England and leave Jamaica.
What I want to say tonight, England have 5 prime ministers in 2 years because they can't find nobody. So this English white man, if he wants a prime minister, go England, they can't find nobody up there. They might use him. A country of 5 prime ministers in 2 or 3 years, can't find nobody. So I better go knock on Englishman door and say, Mr. King, may I come, and left us alone. We just saw, we stand for Andrew Holness. You stand for Desmond. We work together for the Jamaica party to ensure victory is secure. Thank you, my brother.
Norgay Banton for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Warmington also launched another attack on pollsters who've suggested the PNP are ahead. According to him, there's no doubt the JLP will secure a 3rd term.
You hear some stupid nonsense coming out about polls saying this and polls saying that? What me say? F poll, Labour rights strong, Labour rights solid, and that effing thing not gonna away. You hear me? Those polls are paid for by PNP. And if PNP pay for it, you go and get PNP poll. I was on Cliff Hughes' program some weeks ago, and talk to press. And he asked me, and I said, look, I'm in this thing now 56 years. I won 7 elections. And I can tell you, what they're saying is not what I'm feeling on the ground. Totally not. And regardless of what the ones say, Andrew Holness and Labour Party will do the 3rd term.
Everald Warmington, Member of Parliament for South West St. Catherine. He was addressing a West Kingston constituency conference at the Tivoli Gardens High School on Thursday.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The world in a minute.
The Bahamas announced on Friday that it will refinance $300 million of its external debt to free up more than $120 million for marine conservation projects and climate change mitigation. The Associated Press says this is the fifth such debt-for-nature swap in the world. The Bahamian government signed the deal with the Nature Conservancy, the Inter-American Development Bank, and other financial partners. The deal involves buying back the existing debt through a new loan by Standard Chartered with reduced interest rates. The move is expected to free up some $124 million in funding. That money will be used for marine conservation projects for the next 15 years. An endowment fund will also be created to secure financing for the projects after the 15 years are up. Overall, the Bahamas holds some $5.7 billion in external debt.
NATO and Ukraine will hold emergency talks on Tuesday after Russia attacked a central city with an experimental hypersonic ballistic missile. The attack has escalated the nearly 33-month-old war between the two countries. Ukraine's parliament, cancelled a session as security was tightened following Thursday's Russian strike on a military facility in the city of Dnipro. In a stark warning to the West, President Vladimir Putin said the attack with the intermediate-range Oreshnik missile was in retaliation for Kyiv's use of US and British longer-range missiles capable of striking deeper into Russian territory. Putin, who was speaking during a national televised address, said Western air defense systems would be powerless to stop the new missiles. Ukrainian military officials said that the missile hit Dnipro, had reached a speed of Mach 11 and carried 6 non-nuclear warheads, each releasing 6 submunitions. Speaking on Friday to military and weapons industries officials, Putin said Russia is launching production of the Oreshnik.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the country is now awaiting the results of a quartet of by-elections across the country.
All eyes are on Ainon Town in North Clarendon and Morant Bay in East St. Thomas.
At the end of the day, we are prepared to celebrate.
With a lot of work, we expect the work to pay off.
Director of Elections Glaspole Brown says the turnout has been mixed.
Cafe reports voter intimidation in Clarendon.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next at 6 to... the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by Fosrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from the daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. Enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle in Ocherias from $299 per night. Take advantage of this offer today by calling Couples Resorts at 876-632-8200. Conditions apply.
It's time! Shock Shocks Depot is having a pre-Christmas clearance sale with massive discounts on all shocks and struts for all vehicles. Installation and wheel alignment available, plus warranty on all shocks and struts. Contact or visit Shocks Depot at 79 Hagley Park Road. Telephone 876-649-0238 and call or WhatsApp 876-509-0076. Shocks Depot. Our products are durable, comfortable, and affordable.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. 2 West Indies batsmen fell in the dreaded 90s as the Caribbean team closed the opening day of the first cricket test on 250 for 5 against Bangladesh at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. Captain Craig Brathwaite 4, Casey Carter 0, and Kavem Hodge 25 went early as the West Indies slumped to 84 for 3. However, Mikhail Louis and Alec Athanaze came together and did a proper repair job with a 4th wicket stand of 140. Louis charged Mehidi Hassan Miraz and was caught for 97, and Athanaze followed shortly thereafter for 90. Justin Greaves 11 and Joshua De Silva 14 are the not-out batsmen. The Jamaica Scorpions will meet the Barbados Pride in the final of the CG United Regional Super 50 Championship tomorrow at the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba. Both teams came through impressive semi-final victories to get to the final. The Scorpions defeated the Leeward Islands Hurricanes by 107 runs yesterday, and the Barbados Pride, they dumped the defending champions and host Trinidad and Tobago Red Force from the tournament on Wednesday. The final is set to start at 12 tomorrow. Australia collapsed to 67 for 7 as India took control of the first test in Perth, despite being dismissed for just 150 on an extraordinary opening day. After opting to bat, the tourists, who made 6 changes from their historic third test defeat by New Zealand earlier in November, were reduced to 32 for 3 and then 73 for 6. Virat Kohli's struggles continued as he made just 5, while Yashasvi Jaiswal and Devdutt Pikal, both playing in Australia for the first time, were dismissed without scoring. Rishabh Pant 37 and debutant Nitish Kumar Reddy 41 showed some form to counter-attack and drag India to 150, but they were bowled out within 2 sessions. In response, Jasprit Bumrah produced a breathtaking opening spell to leave Australia struggling on 19 for 3, and he removed debutant Nathan McSweeney leg before on review and had Usman Khawaja caught in the slips before removing Steve Smith first ball LBW. Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh both then fell cheaply before Marnus Labuschagne, who batted resiliently for just 2 of 52 balls, was trapped leg before by Mohammad Siraj. Ocherias High School, they're leading St. Catherine High by 2-0 at sports time in the first ISA Champions Cup game of the season at the Montego Bay Sports Complex. Keanu Reed gave the Ocherias team the lead after 42 minutes with a very, very slick finish. And then he came back and he repeated the act in the 56th minute. It was even better. A really, really incredible finish by this young man. A nice pair of goals from Keanu Reed. In the second game of the doubleheader, Jamaica College will square off with McGrath at 6:15. Come Saturday, Hydel will battle Garver Maceo, and defending champions Glenmuir will come face-to-face with Kingston College. The 4 winners will advance to next week's semi-finals. And finally, in sports at this time, Yannick Sinner inspired reigning champions Italy to a comeback victory over Argentina, which set up a Davis Cup semi-final against Australia. World's number 1, Sinner kept Italy in contention after Lorenzo Musetti's loss to Francesco Cirondolo with a commanding straight sets win over Sebastian Baez. The 23-year-old then partnered Matteo Berrettini to a 6-4, 7-5 victory against Andres Molteni and Maximo Gonzalez in the deciding doubles match to complete the turnaround in Malaga. In a repeat of last year's title decider, Italy faced Australia for a place in Sunday's final after they beat the United States 2-1 on Thursday. Italy are seeking to become only the 6th nation to retain the Davis Cup since the final stage was introduced 52 years ago, and the first since the Czech Republic in 2013. Germany beat Canada on Wednesday to confirm a semi-final spot against the Netherlands, who knocked out Spain in the final tournament of Rafa Nadal's amazing 20-year career. And it's still 2-0 in favor of Ocherias over St. Catherine. This is Champions Cup football down in Montego Bay. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my OneJN Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the OneJN Passport app is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Jamaica, your government has delivered. 100 brand new CNG buses are now rolling out across the island. Enjoy lower bus fares, short wait times, and air-conditioned comfort on every ride. Enjoy a smoother commute and more savings every day. It's all part of our commitment to lower the cost of living and improve your daily commute.
Brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Former staff of Jamaica Mutual Life and Jamaica Mutual Properties, for beneficiaries of the pension schemes or their next of kin or beneficiaries of their estate, are invited to contact Guardian Life at 12 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or 876-927-4105, extension 2794, or GLL Pensions at myguardiangroup.com to make arrangements to claim their pension and or any other benefits payable.
Want to start investing in real estate with as little as $25,000? Then the JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Fund may fit your future best with tax-free advantages and returns above inflation. Visit jm.jmmb.com to get started today. Conditions apply.
The cover story is brought to you by New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning. Detailed cleaning for your business and home.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. How are you, Ricardo?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's a Friday, so I'm happy about that.
Good. And it's a political Friday. Yes. I know you love your politics.
Yep, you know I love the politics.
All right. So, listeners, polls have closed across the country in by-elections in Northwest St. Andrews, South Trelawney, those constituencies, and of course in Ainantown and in Morant Bay, those divisions. The JLP candidate in the Ainantown division, Suzette Barton, says the party is prepared to celebrate when the polls, or rather when the votes are counted. She spoke with Nationwide News after casting her ballot today.
The campaign, it has been a very fruitful 3 weeks of campaigning. We were able to cover all the grounds, all 24 PDs, and the response has been overwhelming. So we have had hectic 3 weeks, but we are comfortable with the response that we have been receiving on the ground.
So at the end of the day, you will be the councillor for the Ainantown division.
All right, let's put it this way. At the end of the day, we are prepared to celebrate.
You just went in and voted. What was that feeling like? Talk to me a little bit about that.
As usual, it's always an exciting feeling to be casting a vote for the JLP party. And this morning, it was even more exciting to know that I was casting a vote for the JLP on behalf of myself.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So you've been working non-stop all 3 weeks?
Yes, non-stop. We told the Honorable Prime Minister that we would not be sleeping much, and that's how it has been. We have been on the ground day and almost night, so we have been working assiduously so that we can, celebrate at the end of today.
And that's Susan Barton. She is the JLP candidate in the Annan Town division. Meanwhile, PNP candidate Delroy Dawson says today's by-election is crucial.
Yeah, so of course, listeners or reporters have been across the country. They've been in both constituencies, also in the divisions. Speaking to the candidates, you heard from Suzette Barton there saying that the Laborites will have reason to celebrate. We'll see. We expect counting should have started by now. And the PNP's candidate, as Sanjay said, Delroy Dawson, he's saying that the by-election today is crucial.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Ricardo, to see the results from it, considering this is known to be a strong PNP division. And this is the one that the JLP had flipped.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see if the JLP can retain it. And also, one of the things that we have recognized that the PNP has been on the ground in several constituencies. So it's going to be a test again of the PNP and how they perform when the results are in tonight.
Yeah. Here is Delroy Dawson.
Campaign is good.
It was a good campaign.
Yes, did a lot of work. I expect the work to pay off.
I noticed that I see a lot of persons going back and forth. You have all the big wigs down here helping you.
Yes, it's a very crucial election. Both sides are here. The Prime Minister is here, the opposition is here, so it's not just me alone, it's both sides. Yes.
So I noticed that you were having while you were coming, you were having a little argument. What was going on? Talk to us.
Well, actually, one of the security, I think it's one of the Prime Minister's security was telling my son that that's why Jamaica is not going anywhere, because young people have voted for the PNP, and that is rude and out of order. Right? Because this government here in the present time don't really care about young people. Because in this constituency alone, we have two trade centers, and both of them closed down. Is a comrade, Troy Levy, is trying to really promote the development of the centers to really empower the youth. So for me as a teacher, I don't think this government has done enough for the youths.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you get in here, you're going to help these young people?
I always help the youths a lot. I actually, some of them couldn't read for farm work. I bring them in this same clinic, teach them to read. And then some of them is now abroad, some is waiting to go away. Right? I assist enough of them with back to school, university assistant, because as a teacher I want to see the constituency grow. Comrade Dolly was a former member of parliament, spent millions of dollars helping in education, because we believe in education, and that is the only way the youths can help their parents and persons to really uplift themselves out of poverty.
People are complaining though about the roads. What will you do when we see you inside here?
Well, to be honest, we have two sets of roads. We have the NAA road, which is the Member of Parliament roads, and you have the council roads. The Member of Parliament can't fix any road because it's a constituency leader. The council can fix the parish council road. Most of the parish council road in the division, we have done some work with the little amount of resources that I have received from the parish council. All right, but as you can see, the Member of Parliament really not do nothing in the constituency. The other day, in Desire, they were just throwing some rat maul on the road, trying to put Band-Aid over sore. Right? That is not acceptable. We need proper representation for the people of this constituency and for the people of this division. It cannot be that it's just when an election coming up, you're trying to Band-Aid some roads and trying to cheat the people. The people are wise and now know that they need better representation.
That's Delroy Dawson there in the Annan Town division. And Sanjay, I understand we now have the Director of Elections,
yes,
Glasspool Brown. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon to you both.
All right, do you have the latest numbers in terms of turnout in the 4 by-elections?
The latest that we had was at 3 p.m. We are with the prayer count now, which should be giving us the actual voter turn for the day, which will come in a short while from now.
Mm-hmm. And what we were seeing in Northwest St. Andrew was particularly alarming at that time when you released those figures. It was at 5%, just under 5%?
Just under 5%, but at our rough estimate, it should be close to 6% by the time the preliminary count is done.
Yeah.
6%.
That's our rough estimate. That's an estimate, right?
Right. And about what time are you expecting that we will have the results? Considering that it's only 6%, it shouldn't take you much long.
We're doing a number of four by-elections. I don't want to put my neck on the block to tell you a time as such, but I should be able to release those numbers by 7 o'clock latest.
For all four?
All four, yes. That's the target work it was right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And just explain to our listeners what would be happening at this time, minutes to 6.
All right. What does that mean? That we're following the closure of the poll at 5 p.m. They started their plenary activities in terms of the counting up to the ballots. They are going through that at the different polling stations. After that is completed, the numbers will be then sent electronically up to our office, our head office, your election center, and then we begin to do the tally. At the local level, the supervisors for the different locations, accompanied by the representative of the candidates, will then take the ballots to the returning officer, who will then take custody of the ballot boxes, and then come tomorrow morning at about 10 o'clock, they'll start the final count.
Mm-hmm. And throughout the entire proceedings today, have you received any report of any incidents? I've heard from some individuals complaining about voter intimidation, but from your end, have you gotten any reports?
Well, from our end, we didn't get any major issues as such. I think what the most that came into us was the normal recurring issues that normally is raised in an election, and that's the whole question of persons complaining of the slowness of the processing at the different locations today. But the reason for that in the main was because a number of persons did not carry their ID cards to the polling station, and that delayed the process to a certain extent. Outside that, I think that everything went well. There was no other major issue that was reported to us, apart from one matter that we're looking at in terms of a location in St. Thomas, Moran Bay Division, where our team caught a elector taking a photograph of their ballot after they marked the ballot, and that ballot was confiscated, was taken away and was spoiled.
So the elector was taking a picture of, they had already cast the vote?
Yeah, having marked the ballot, they were seen taking the photograph of the ballot using their cell phone, and that's a breach of the act.
Is it that they were allowed to recast that ballot, or
No,
No?
That ballot was deemed as being spoiled, and that person was not given another ballot.
Mm-hmm. Was that reported to the police?
I'm still awaiting a report from the supervisor at that local level.
And just to be clear, that would constitute a breach of the act?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. All right. We'll touch base with you again, Director Brown.
Okay, good.
All right. Let's go to the break and come back with more.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:43.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Life gets busy, from work to play, but don't forget your health checked.
The NHF card now offers discounts on PSA tests and pap smears to help check for prostate and cervical cancer. Women 21 and over get a subsidy for pap smears every 3 years.
And men 40 and over receive an annual subsidy for PSA tests. Get your NHF card today.
The NHF is here for health. The NHF is here for you.
You shop, we ship. Click and Ship Express. We make online shopping easy with hassle-free shipping that's affordable, fast, and convenient. Take advantage of our great rates, multiple locations island-wide, and extended opening hours. Track your package every step of the way. Have a question? Email, call, or chat with our customer service team. Sign up for free at clickandshipexpress.com and get your U.S. mailing address. Click and Ship. Like it, click it, ship it. Conditions apply. A product of Jamaica Post.
Want to start investing in real estate with as little as $25,000? Then the JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Fund may fit your future best with tax-free advantages and returns above inflation. Visit jm.jmmb.com to get started today. Conditions apply.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
All roads lead to the National Arena Sunday, November 24, 10 a.m. for the 81st Annual Conference of the Jamaica Labour Party. Come here, Prime Minister and Party Leader, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, stand on a record of performance to deliver on the mission of prosperity for all Jamaicans. Stronger message from the stronger team. Here, heavyweights Bobby Montague, Dr. Horace Chang, Dr. Chris Tufton, Darrell Vaz, Kamina Johnson-Smith, Floyd Green, youth ambassadors and other champions. Bank to bank, JLP River come down for the 81st Annual Conference, Sunday, November 24, 10 a.m. Jam-packed National Arena. Green shirts, belts, flags, check. Stronger leader, stronger party, stronger performance, stronger team, fully active. See you at conference.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The polls have been closed now in Northwest St. Andrews South, Trelawny, the Ainantown Division, and in Morant Bay in East St. Thomas. They've been closed for 46 minutes now. And just a correction, before the break, the Director of Elections relayed to us an incident that he said occurred in Morant Bay where an elector was caught trying to take a picture of the ballot once they had already voted. The correction, that happened in Ainantown in Clarendon, so not in Morant Bay. It occurred in Ainantown in Clarendon. And the director says once he has more details on exactly what happened, he will update us. So we're giving you a feel of what happened today across the country. And over in Morant Bay, the PMP's candidate, Rosemarie Shaw, she's saying her record of performance will speak for itself. She's a former mayor of Morant Bay, and she's also represented the division for 26 years on behalf of both major political parties.
Frankly, I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I really hope that things work out. Knowing me, I don't take chances. Some persons are saying, don't worry, you've got it. But I don't take chances, and I'm not gloating. I'm very humbled. When I look at the support, the outpouring of love, I'm really humbled. Because I think that many terms deserve another. And I have spent 26 years from 1981 to from 1981 to 2007 as a political representative in this division. And I think that my work and my record of performance speaks for itself. And I think I will be rewarded by the people of this Morant Bay division.
You're campaigning on a record of achievement, and obviously you're no newcomer to this.
Indeed.
What makes the second time around different from what you would have done in previous years? And what new plans will you be coming to the constituency?
Well, there are a lot to be done. I have been advocating over those years for a central sewage system for Morant Bay. That is indeed a very necessary action for a central sewage system. And when I look around and I see the level of youth unemployment, there is a heart center in license, and a lot of persons are not taking it up. And I think that I am the best person to provide that leadership, to sort of talk to people and encourage them as to the benefits of the HEART program.
And speaking of leadership, you were also mayor of Morant.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are to come out successful in this election, are you planning to go for that position again?
No, because the law states that you have to have a majority of the municipal corporation, and so that.
Would that be in the plans for the future?
I don't want to be mayor 2 times. Well, I want to be councillor. I don't want to be mayor 2 times. Because as you are aware, I don't know how many of you are aware that I am also the People's National Party candidate for Eastern St. Thomas for the general elections.
Okay, so bigger plans in store.
Indeed.
All right, earlier. And that's Rosemary Shaw.
Very good, very organized.
And Rosemary Shaw is the PNP's candidate in the Morant Bay division. And Ms. Shaw is going up against the JLP's Winston Dowie. Now, meanwhile, MP for West Portland, the JLP's Darrell Vaz, says the party's machinery was making a final push in the hour leading up to the close of the polls.
Very good, very organized, and incident-free. I've been moving around all day. I'm specifically responsible for the Dumfries cluster, which is a tough one in terms of challenge. But so far, everybody happy. Everybody is doing what they do. And the good thing is that everybody is working hard to get out their votes. I'm using my numbers to guide me, because that's what's the most important thing. And I'm happy with the numbers, and we have an hour to go. And an hour in our election day is a very long time, because obviously there's a last push between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So that's what I'm here, just checking around to make sure that we are following up to get all of our outstanding electors to the station prior to 5 o'clock.
Right, and that's one of the things I wanted to follow up on, because since morning we've been hearing about the slow and the steady progress that's been happening. So in terms of the mobilization of your machinery, how is that going?
Yeah. So what is always good in a by-election is when you have the whole team working together from outside of the parish, the area council and outside. Right. So we really are very good at by-elections. Our record in by-elections are good, and I'm hoping that will hold. But it takes organization, it takes unity of purpose, and therefore, when you look at the numbers, we are much better off than we were before. So let's just hope and pray, but looking forward to good news later.
Okay, then all the best.
All right,
Darrell Vaz there speaking with our reporter in East St. Thomas. And Sanjay, the sources on one side are seeming, 52 minutes now since the polls have closed, are starting to seem increasingly confident about a particular outcome in the Morant Bay division. We don't have the final results yet, but they are increasingly now, the sources are messaging me to tell me they believe, one, based on their internal numbers. We will wait for the official count from the EOJ, but 53 minutes in, they say they are comfortable and confident about the outcome in Morant Bay. So two divisional by-elections, Town and Morant Bay.
Yeah. Darrell Vaz said something, Ricardo, that is true. The JLP has, over the last couple of years, developed a trend where they are good at by-elections. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can flip that division. And as I said earlier, it will say a lot about the People's National Party, considering that they have been on the ground, and the General Secretary have indicated that they have done the work and they are confident of victory. But it's going to be interesting.
And I wondered, whether you talk about the success the JLP has had in by-elections in recent times, as to whether that is a consequence of the machinery or just a benefit of being in government. Because being in government, you're able to mobilize resources, you're able to transfer resources to that, that by-election becomes the point of focus.
It's a mixture of both.
Well, it's to be seen. It's to be seen. Yeah. But yes, I wondered whether that was just a consequence of governments really usually do well in by-elections. But as you said, if there is a upset in Morant Bay, that would be significant. And it would be interesting to see what the result will be in Ainantown, whether the PNP is able to wrest it back or
Yes.
the JLP is able to hold on to it and increase the margin. I think both political parties will be looking at what happens today as some kind of indicator.
Of test.
Yes, as to what the mood
Yes.
is and what the country is feeling.
Especially, Ricardo, coming out of that local government election,
Yes,
where the People's National Party got a bump.
Mhm.
And all eyes now will be on these two divisions, considering that the People's National Party did not contest the last by-election at the central government level. This is the real test. This is the only test we have since the local government election of both parties going head-to-head.
And I
So
noted
think it's a statement for both parties.
And I noted the Prime Minister made a comment while he was addressing journalists in Northwest St. Andrew today. He said he sees the by-elections as a sort of warm-up exercise. You know, he said, I think the word he used, it's the heats, right, of what's to come. And of course, what is to come is the finals, I suppose, of the big race, which is the general election. And he says, you know, this is the heats. And so, I suppose as a strategic matter, he's using it to test the temperature, test his organization, and to get a sense as to what can happen and how soon it can happen. And of course, there's no truer poll than an actual poll, you know, by the voters. So we will see. Of course, it's not only divisional by-elections happening. South Trelawney is seeing an independent candidate, Lloyd Gillings, going up against the woman that they call down there Mama D. And he's saying he's cautiously optimistic about his chances of securing victory today.
That's the winning vote. History will create in South Trelawney today. Doesn't matter what the outcome, it will be history.
Hold on a finger. What do you mean history? Talk about that.
Well, one, I'm fully confident that I will take this seat home safely.
What do you say this amount of confidence?
Well, forever since, you know, I have full confidence that this is it. This is out of my hands and it is in God's hands.
You contest this seat 2020, lost miserable to Dalrymple. What give you that impression and a surety that you will win this seat this time around as an independent?
Well, first of all, in my view, she's not qualified to sit at this time. She has several issues that persons asking questions and we cannot get any answers. So I believe she should step aside and she should wait until even the court case finish. You know, I think it's unfair to South Trelawney for her to just walk out of the seat and walk back in.
If you were elected member of parliament, what would be your first act?
Well, as you can see, South Trelawney is without water from ever since, before I was born. So I will do the water project first thing. And as you can look on our roads, it's terrible.
So water and roads?
Water and roads. And I have a single mother's project that I want to do.
Well, I mean, he's hoping to make history, Lloyd Gillings. And he said, you know, Sanjay, he's going to secure a victory by over 3,000 votes. I don't know.
It's good. Ricardo, it's good to be confident, huh?
I don't know. Well, we'll see. I mean, lightning might strike.
I don't think he's going to strike this time, though.
Yeah. All right. So that's the cover story, listeners. All right. Okay. So we're going to take a... All right. Let's hear from Marissa Dalrymple Philibert before we go for the headlines.
I'm very encouraged. And I say that because, as I have been saying, we are a farming community. Our backbone here, we earn a living as farmers in South Trelawney. And life has to go on. People have their bills to pay. So on Thursday evening, people have left the community as usual, several trucks and vans, and they have traveled out to other areas in Jamaica so that they can sell their produce so that they can look after their families. So we start off with where a large percentage of our population is not working. Additionally, it's a normal working day for teachers, for people in schools. And so people have to take their children to school, they have to pick them up, they have to make arrangements. It's a difficult day. And particularly also that it's not a national voting day. So there's not that energy all over the island that propels people to the polling station. And as I travel through South Trelawney, I'm particularly heartened by the amount of persons who have taken the time off to come out and hold their votes today.
Marissa Dalrymple Philibert there, seeking to return to the Parliament as the representative in South Trelawney. We're going to take the break for the headlines now, listeners, but you're going to join us at 6:40. By then, we'll be in the thick of things. You heard the director saying that he thinks by about 7, he should be able to tell us definitively. And we'll have our panel with us. The old man, of course, Cliff Hughes. I understand, Sanjay. He's itching at home. He's itching. He wants something to do. So I think Dana will allow him to join us at 6:40. Sunko.
The cover story was brought to you by New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning. Detailed cleaning for your business and home.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
A minute after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The opposition leader, PNP President Mark Golding, has expressed optimism for his party's chances in today's by-elections. Speaking in the Aenon Town division, Mr. Golding says the elections serve as a test for party support in light of polls that show the PNP is gaining ground on the government.
You know, the polls indicate that we're significantly ahead of the Jamaica Labour Party. My own favourability is ahead of that of the Prime Minister in the most recent polls. So that's one thing at that level. But what really matters is whether you can translate that kind of popularity and support into election day management and delivering a victory. So for us, it's a good test of where we are in terms of that aspect of things.
Mr. Golding says he was pleased to see supporters from both the JLP and PNP interacting peacefully with one another.
What I love about the politics here, I must tell you, is that the PNP and JLP supporters are all good friends. So we don't have that kind of intense hostility, and I have been having good conversations with JLP supporters as well. I think if there's any tension, it's as a result of people brought from outside. But the people who live in the community here get along very well together.
That's PNP President Mark Golding. Director of Elections Glaspel Brown says the day's events have gone smoothly with only a few minor issues. He spoke with Nationwide News just before the polls closed at 5 p.m. According to Mr. Brown, there's been no major incidents to report.
So far up to 4 o'clock, everything seems to have gone fairly well. The voting continues in some of the locations. But we anticipate that we'll be able to close all the polling stations by 5. But so far, I think we had a fairly good day. There are 1 or 2 issues that came to the fore. Regular issues in terms of persons complaining that the process was a bit slow. But that was as a result of a number of persons turning up without their new ID card, their renewed ID card, and therefore the process took a little bit longer.
He says voter turnout has been mixed in all 4 races.
So far, Aenon Town seems to be coming out in excess of 40%, Moran Bay in excess of 28%. St. Andrew North is looking a little bit low at 4 o'clock. Trelawney Southern is close to 20%.
Glaspel Brown, Director of Elections. Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections, CAFE, has reported 1 instance of what they consider voting intimidation during today's by-elections. According to CAFE Deputy Chairman Anton Thompson, the incident took place in the Aenon Town division. However, Mr. Thompson says he's yet to receive the full specifics.
One of the observers reported that they saw 1 incident of intimidation. That's all I can say. I don't know the nature of the intimidation, how serious it was, etc. one report came in. And all the other reports we got didn't indicate anything. No, it's not. It was one that we have.
That's Anton Thompson, Deputy Chairman of CAFE. He adds that the by-elections have otherwise remained incident-free. And at 2 this afternoon, voter turnout in Annan Town was 40%, while Morant Bay reported turnouts of just over 28%. The JLP's Suzette Barton says Labourites will be celebrating when the votes are counted in Annan Town tonight.
The campaign, it has been a very fruitful 3 weeks of campaigning. We were able to cover all the grounds, all 24 PDs, and the response has been overwhelming. So we have had hectic 3 weeks, but we are comfortable with the response that we have been receiving on the ground.
So at the end of the day, you will be the councillor for the Annan Town division.
Let's put it this way. At the end of the day, we are prepared to celebrate.
But her challenger, Delroy Dawson, says he's confident the work he's done will return a victory for the PNP.
Did a lot of work. I expect the work to pay off. You know, it's a very crucial election. Both sides are here. The Prime Minister is here, the opposition is here, so it's not just me alone, it's both sides.
That's Delroy Dawson. The PNP is seeking to wrest the division from the JLP. The Labourites won the division by 92 votes in February. A PNP victory would result in a tie in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. But meanwhile, in the East, the PNP's Rosemary Shaw accused Labourites of going on a rampage aimed at intimidating her supporters.
Supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party really went on a rampage of intimidation. And I tried to sort of provide that leadership to tell them we're not going down that road because those are dark days of the 80s politics and we really don't need that because after tomorrow we will all be here and we will have to live together as one.
That's the PNP's Rosemary Shaw, and meanwhile, the JLP's Darrell Vaz, who was deployed in East St. Thomas to organize in the Dumfries area, says the party's machinery was making a final push in the hour leading up to the closing of polls.
So what is always good in a by-election is when you have the whole team working together from outside of the parish, the area council and outside. Right. So we really are very good at by-elections. Our record in by-elections are good, and I'm hoping that will hold. But it takes organization, it takes unity of purpose, and therefore when you look at the numbers, we are much better off than we were before. So let's just hope and pray, but looking forward to good news later.
That's West Portland MP Darrell Vaz. The Labourites will have to overturn a margin of more than 400 votes to claim victory tonight. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
With Jamaica Automobile Association, membership is a win-win. Enter the JAA Fuel Up promotion and you could win the grand prize of JAA Gold membership for 1 year plus fuel valued at $240,000. Just purchase, renew or upgrade your JAA membership or use your individual JAA advance card to buy at least $10,000 of fuel a month. So, fuel up! There's also monthly prices of $20,000 in fuel. Enter now. JAA Fuel Up promotion ends December 13, 2024. Conditions apply.
KFC pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious, finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Delicious, juicy, irresistible. Now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC popcorn chicken.
Time for a new look.
And high time to get serious about protecting our home and investment.
It's time to choose BH Paints with over 60 years experience in quality paint finishes. Their products are superior and long-lasting.
Time to check them out.
Ask about BH Paint's 100% acrylic Ultima Plus paint and primer in one. Experience rich colors with advanced UV and mildew-resistant technologies, independently tested by experts. What are you waiting for? Visit a BH Paints Color Center today.
Fa la 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 la. Did you hear that? It is almost Christmas and Fosrich is having a super solar lighting sale. Yes, you heard right. From now until November 25th, enjoy 20% off your selection of solar wall lamps, garden lights, and solar flood lamps. You can't afford to miss the sale. It is the Fosrich Super Solar Lighting Sale, now until November 25th. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Montego Bay, and Draxall. Shop and save, only with Fosrich.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Ocho Rios High School booked their spot in the semi-finals of the ISA Champions Cup a short while ago. They beat St. Catherine High School by 2-0 at the Montego Bay Sports Complex in St. James. Keanu Reed bagged a double. It was an exquisite double, a real proper striker, this young boys. And he scored them for Ocho Rios, who were through to the first ever Champions Cup semi-finals. In the second game of the doubleheader, Jamaica College will square off with McGrath starting in another 5 minutes. On Saturday, Hydel will battle Garva Maceo, and defending champions Glenmuir will come face-to-face with Kingston College. The four winners will advance to next Wednesday's semi-finals. Two West Indies batsmen fell in the dreaded 90s as the Caribbean team closed the opening day of the first cricket test on 250 for 5. This against Bangladesh at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. Captain Craig Brathwaite 4, Casey Carty 0, and Kavem Hodge 25 went early as the West Indies slumped to 84 for 3. However, Mikhail Louis and Alec Athanaze came together and did a proper repair job with a fourth wicket stand of 140. Louis charged Mehdi Hassan Miraz and was called for 97, and Athanaze, he followed shortly after for 90. Justine Greaves 11 and Joshua De Silva 14 are the not-out batsmen. The Jamaica Scorpions and the Barbados Pride are meeting tomorrow at the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba in the final of the CG United Regional Super 50 tournament. Both teams came through impressive semi-final victories to get into the final. The Pride beat defending champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, and the Jamaica Scorpions defeated the Leeward Islands Hurricanes last night by 107 runs. Set 353 to win, the Hurricanes were dismissed for 245 in 36 overs. Kofi James 79, Jamar Hamilton 58, and Joel Andrew 40 made most runs against Marquino Minley 4 for 46 and 2 wickets each to Brad Barnes and Javoy Royal. Javel Glenn was the star of the show for the Scorpions. He made his first List A century, 140 not out to steer the Scorpions to 352 for 9, which was the biggest total in the tournament so far this season. Australia collapsed to 67 for 7 as India took control of the first test in Perth, despite being dismissed for just 150 on an extraordinary opening day. After opting to bat, the tourists, who made 6 changes from their historic third test defeat by New Zealand earlier in November, were reduced to 32 for 3 and then 73 for 6. Virat Kohli's struggles continued. He made 5, while Yashasvi Jaiswal and Devdutt Pitkal, both playing in Australia for the first time, were dismissed without scoring. Rishabh Pant, 37, and the debutant Nitish Kumar Reddy, 41, showed form to counter-attack and drag India to 150, but they were bowled out within 2 sessions. In reply, Jasprit Bumrah produced a breathtaking opening spell to leave Australia 19 for 3. He removed debutant Nathan McSweeney leg before on review and had Usman Khawaja caught in the slips before removing Steve Smith first ball leg before wicket. Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh both fell cheaply before Marnus Labuschagne, who batted resiliently for 2 of 52 balls, was trapped leg before by Mohammad Siraj. Bumrah returned to remove Pat Cummins as Australia reached 67 for 7 at stumps and will resume on 83 behind when play resumes on Saturday. The 17 wickets to fall is the most on the opening day of a test in Australia since 1952. Yannick Sinner inspired reigning champions Italy to a come-from-behind victory over Argentina, which set up a Davis Cup semi-final against Australia. World number 1 Sinner kept Italy in contention after Lorenzo Mussetti's loss to Francisco Rendolo with a commanding straight sets win over Sebastian Baez. The 23-year-old then partnered Matteo Berrettini to a 6-4, 7-5 victory against Andres Molettini and Maximo Gonzalez in the deciding doubles match to complete the turnaround in Malaga. In a repeat of last year's title decider, Italy faced Australia for a place in Sunday's final after they beat the United States 2-1 on Thursday. Italy are seeking to become only the sixth nation to retain the Davis Cup since the final stage was introduced 52 years ago, and first since the Czech Republic. The then Czech Republic, the Czech Republic in 2013, Germany beat Canada on Wednesday to confirm a semi-final against the Netherlands, who knocked out Spain in the final tournament of Rafa Nadal's career. Once it was Czechoslovakia, it's now the Czech Republic. Franz Wagner scored a 3-pointer with 3 seconds left to secure a dramatic 119-118 win for the Orlando Magic to end the Los Angeles Lakers' unbeaten home record in the NBA last night. The 23-year-old German top scored with 37 points, 11 assists and 6 rebounds as the Magic took advantage of some wayward Lakers shooting in the fourth quarter. The home side were on the brink of an 8th successive home victory when they opened up a 118-114 lead with 27 seconds left. Wagner narrowed the gap to 118-116 before Lakers forward Anthony Davis missed 2 free throws. When he had the chance to put the game beyond reach, the Magic took full advantage with Wagner's 26-foot shot, sealing a 7th win in 8 games. It means Orlando improved to 1-10-7, and they stay 4th in the Eastern Conference. The Lakers are also 4th in the Western Conference after slipping to 10-5. Elsewhere, Brandon Miller scored a career-high 38 points as Charlotte recovered from losing a 20-point lead to beat Detroit 123-121 in overtime. Detroit trailed 89-69 in the third quarter, but fought back to level at 107-107 with 1 minute 33 left in the game. But Trey Mann's layup with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in overtime gave the Hornets a lead they never relinquished and sealed just a second win in 6 games. RJ Barrett scored 31 points, including 12 in the fourth quarter, as the Toronto Raptors beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 110-105. Harrison Barnes had 25 points and 10 rebounds as the San Antonio Spurs beat the Utah Jazz 126-118. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:17.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night.
Charlie, let me ask you something. You not tired of the violence and the body count?
Of course.
That have to stop. That need to stop. We as Jamaicans need to start do things different. The crime, the theft, the violence, all of them things have to stop. We need to start live good.
So what is this live good thing you're talking about?
Why, it's a message you are telling people to live good. So as a country, we can maintain the law, public order, and public safety. Not only that, when we live good with each other, we talk it out, we don't fight it out. We not support crime and badness. We need to do the right thing.
I get it, you know. And to be honest, you know, good son, are the right message that fear spread across Jamaica, you know. Live good.
Yeah, man. So make we live good. Make we dash away badness. No to domestic abuse, no to violence in schools, no to child abuse, no to scamming and robbery. Just do the right thing. Support each other. Not tear down or plot against each other. We must respect each other.
True, you're talking, you know. And we have to set an example for the youth them. Me support that. We have to live good for a better Jamaica. So make we do the right thing and live good.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and I.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Are you ready? Join us on November 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Youth Day. Enjoy our Business Expo, get expert leadership advice, and explore diverse program offerings. Join a live panel discussion on youth leadership in the digital age and many more exciting presentations. You don't want to miss this. UCC's Youth Day, November 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 17 Worthington Avenue, Kingston 5. For more information, visit ucc.edu.jm.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6th. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion right here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart, and we have an interesting one for you guys today, yeah? Now, Desmond McKenzie, yes, the deputy leader of the JLP, announced at a media briefing this week that the Vuvuzela horns will be banned from the 81st annual conference next week. So, as a result of this, the JLP says instead supporters will be provided with bells. That's how they're going to show their support for the different speakers that go up to speak at the conference. And this had us thinking, why is this so? And Minister McKenzie said it's because vuvuzelas have been proven. He said he cited studies saying that these horns can provide hearing damage to people that, hear them too much. And that's why that's one of the reasons rather why they've been banned. And we decided that seeing that it's going to be banned at this conference, we decided to open up the gates a bit and ask the public, what if they were banned at every gathering? Because it's something that we blow everywhere, right? Whether it's the National Arena, the National Stadium, football matches, it's something that Jamaicans are known to do at many lively events. So today's public opinion question in lieu of this is, should Vuvuzela horns be banned from all public events? If we take a look over on the X platform, we will see Aurelius, who starts us off, and he says, it's been a thing for a while during celebration and festivities, but yes, noise pollution is a real thing and we must find other means to celebrate better. It's deafening. Mikkel says, yes, the sound is overwhelming and irritating. It's noise pollution. Don O'Mealy says, yes, ban them, next outlaw them, long overdue. Peak Shawarma says, yes, there's such a thing as excessive. FLM says it's a no-brainer if we want to protect our people's hearing. Dizzle says, I've read that they've caused a lot of hearing problems and are banned in a lot of places. Manu Girl says, yes. Patriotic One says, yes, never see anything more annoying. K-Nats Hutchinson says, yes, they're destructive and distracting. Ambleton Ray says, absolutely 100%. Not good for the ears. Decibels are too much. Andre Lawrence says yes. Shanae says yes. Portia Prince, Linda Lawrence, Shani, they all say yes. Bad News says, ask the JLP. All right, so if we go over to Instagram, we have Devando King 30 who says no. He doesn't think they should be banned at all. And lastly, if we go over to Facebook, we'll actually see here on Facebook that is it mixed or is it not? It doesn't seem to be mixed here at all either. Christine Reed says, yup. Christopher Isaac says, I believe that one of the parties should cease using it. The JLP has the bell, which presently fits with Christmas season, so I prefer that it is left to the PNP. Art Jones says it should have never been allowed to begin with. Philip Jackson says we must understand the reason behind this. Rather than the excitement, it can do damage to your hearing, and most of the time the crowd drowns out the message being delivered. Cleveland Richard says, I agree. My ears will get some rest from the noise. Fabian Smith says, in some cases, yes. Natalie Winter says, no, but it all depends on the event and what's really happening on the face of it. Cheryl Griffiths, Rohan Lawrence, Nikki Becky, they all say, yes. There we go. All right, folks. So that's what people are saying on social media. But what says the YouTubers? YouTubers, let's discuss. Let us discuss. Should we get rid of these horns? Should we get rid of these horns? Or should we keep them? How many people in here? How many people in here are actually answering? Let me refresh the stream so that I'm not reading things that are too old. What do we have here? Waiting for the stream to come up. Should they ban the horns? Do you like the sound of the horns, or is it too much? Jam Grand says, yup, ban them. They're very annoying. Dwight Bonner says, get Dutch pot covers instead. Dutch pot covers, he says. Okay. PB says, whoever invented it should be imprisoned. It serves no purpose. What else we have here? World Weather Trackers and Marlon Campbell and Steve Knowles and Tanya Jones and Chris Brown and Neville Gillespie all say yes, they need to be banned. They need to be banned. Dwayne Woody says, well, it became a part of our culture. And I was going to say that, it's hard for me to think of events, whether political, sporting. It's hard for me to think of events where you don't hear the sound of the horn in the background. So I actually agree with that last comment right there that says that it's become kind of ingrained in our culture to an extent. All right. So, yeah. We got here, decibels too high, says Eric Blair. There we go. Away with them, says Dave Kennedy. So I'm not seeing too many fans of the horns, yeah? Carlene Smith says, yes, ban it. Too much noise and too much spit. What else do you have here? Okay, Peter, that's a bit rough. What do you mean the person that invented it should have never been born? That's a bit much. Come on, man. It's not that deep. Fuel says, ban them. Leroy says that vuvuzelas are here with us to stay. It's been bolted long time. Donovan Walker says it was invented at the World Cup in South Africa. Okay. What else do we have here? Stronglink says, ban them. They affect our hearing. It came from South African football. Clifton Lewis says both PNP and JLP have used them. Yep, that's correct. Cindy Lynch says you should use them at horse racing only. What else we got here? Yeah, so lots of people saying, I don't see any... Well, that's not true. I've seen a couple defenders. A couple people say they like it, but if I look up here, I see Al Ellis. He says he hates the sound of it, right? He hates the sound of it. A lot of people not too pleased. Not too pleased with what's going on when it comes to these vuvuzela horns. But yeah, it's going to be bells. The question is, are the bells going to end up being the same sound, same noise as the horns? But only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. But as Minister Mackenzie said, the bell is the symbol of the JLP, and that's why they will be using bells. So, yeah, there we go. Beverly Ricketts Mahiri, Carl Samuda is a member of your fan club. Congrats. Yes, Beverly, I heard the MP calling for me yesterday. But I don't host Nation. I'm not a full-time host of Nationwide at 5. I'm only there in very, very specific instances. But yeah, I did hear that last night. But let's keep it with the topic at hand, yeah? Okay, so Hazel Spike says no. So Hazel, are you saying we shouldn't ban the horns for all public events? Because Lorraine Young above you says they're too noisy. Capo Blender says, yeah, man, ban them. Get rid of them, man. Get them out of here. Live from the Gully says, I don't think it should be outright banned, but there should be limitations to the numbers in a venue. So you're saying we should have like a limit on how many people have access to them at any given event. So what would that limit be? Like 20, 40, 60, 100? What's the appropriate limit of horns we should be giving out to event goers? Gordon Dixon says, yeah, man, get rid of them. He says, ban them. Motivator says, I'm a fan too. Strong Link says, we have too much noise pollution. Too much noise pollution. Al Ellis says, it sounds like a bee's nest. Bee's nest. Crazy. Seeing people saying the bell will be better. The bell will be better. That's what the JLP supporters in the chat are saying. Yeah, man, bring on the bell. Bring on the bell, they say. Very disgusting sound, says Lloyd Campbell. Kevin Bailey says, yes, ban them. They are baby trumpets. All right, man. Noise pollution. But the little man are going to lose him business. And it's funny you mentioned that because Minister Mackenzie also brought that up. He said he's not trying to fight out anybody's business, anybody's small business when he's banning these horns. But, you know, he cited that, yeah, man, it's a JLP thing. They're going to go with the bell instead. It's their logo. So no vuvuzelas, just bells, yeah? But the question is, and I see a lot of people trying to politicize this, you know. Well, this question is about all events. So it's not about whether you think this party or that party. What do you think about the horn itself? Should it be allowed at things like football matches, things like celebrations at the National Stadium, for instance? We're trying to narrow it down to non-partisan stuff here. So I see a lot of people bringing up the bell. But it's not like we're going to be ringing bells at football matches, are we? No, it's not how it's going to be. No, this is a very JLP specific thing. But the horns are everywhere. It's more than just politics. It's sporting events, celebrations. And that's what I want to see, right? That's what I want to see here in the comments here. Kino says, ban them. Yes, all right. Ban them because we will hear the speakers better when people speak. There will be no horns. All right. That naga work, says Culture. The bell is metal, which can be a weapon. All right. All right, people want to hear the results, man. People want to hear the election results. They don't want to hear nothing about no horns. They want to hear the results of today's 4 by-elections. I think we all do, you know. I think we all want to hear the results. So tell you what, folks. I'm going to fast forward it. We're going to go to the business report now so that we can get you to those results as soon as possible, yeah? Let's do it. That's public opinion.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It is 6:32. You are tuned into the business report here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Spain has fined 5 budget airlines a total of 179 million euros for abusive practices, including charging for hand luggage. Ryanair has been given the largest fine of 108 million euros, followed by EasyJet's penalty of 29 million euros. The ministry said it plans to ban practices such as charging extra for carry-on hand luggage and reserving seats for children. The fines are the biggest sanction issued by the ministry and follows an investigation into the budget airline industry. The ministry said it had upheld the fines that were first announced in May after dismissing appeals lodged by the companies. The fines were issued because the airlines were found to have provided misleading information and were not transparent with prices, which hinders the consumer's ability to compare offers and makes informed decisions. That's what the ministry says. Each fine was calculated based on the illicit profit, quote unquote, obtained by each airline from these practices. And in the United States, the head of the U.S. financial regulator, Gary Gensler, will resign from his role on the day of President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. Mr. Gensler confirmed the news on social media platform X after the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, said its 33rd chairman would step down on January 20, 2025. Now, Donald Trump revealed plans to sack Mr. Gensler on day one of his new administration after the chairman took legal action against crypto firms, sparking controversy. Appointed SEC chair in 2021, Mr. Gensler's term is technically supposed to run until 2026, but it is normal for agency leaders to depart their positions when a new administration begins. The president-elect and Mr. Gensler have very different views on cryptocurrencies, which has sparked tension between them. Values of different cryptocurrencies have been rising since Trump won the election, with Bitcoin reaching a record high value of $98,000 on Thursday. Investors believe Trump will rein in enforcement action and that any regulation will be lighter with a Republican in charge than it might have been under Democrats. Crypto firms donated at least $119 million to congressional candidates that they think will pass legislation that is more favorable to their interests. At a Bitcoin conference in July, Trump said he would make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet. Finally, in the currency markets, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 83 cents to buy $1. It cost 196 Jamaican dollars and 83 cents to buy £1, and it cost 113 Jamaican dollars and 43 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. See you when I see you.
Oh, we get so much pain from?
I know, sir. Sure, when you have a stretch a dollar for the Christmas, you want to know the money when me give them and look at the amount of paint that me get.
Stretch your dollar at Sherwin-Williams this Christmas with 18% off select decorative paints from November 25 to December 21.
Sherwin-Williams get all of this, man? You know, long more paint mouse? This can't miss me.
Hurry to any of our 23 stores island-wide. You don't want to miss this amazing offer. Conditions apply.
You can have it all. Company events, birthday parties, or the wedding of your dreams. It's all possible at Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts. We have magnificent event rooms and a dedicated team that will make your event the best experience that only Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts can offer. Contact us at 876-619-0000 or call your favorite travel agency and ask about our promotion designed especially for you.
Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
Unique Living's new arrivals are here. Revamp your space with sleek, fixed and sliding show panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Visit them today and transform your space at shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit their website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
New fast food always tastes to savor. Giving you the best, giving you the flavor. Icing up the kitchens all across Jamaica. Happy smile when they see the price you pay for. Corned beef and the sausage.
New pack.
Ketchup and the pepper sauce.
New pack.
Beans and the baked beans.
New pack.
Rice.
New pack.
Oil.
New pack.
New pack foods always taste to savor. Giving you the best, giving you the flavor. Icing up the kitchens all across Jamaica. Happy smile when they see the price you pay for. New pack. More than just value.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Due to the live broadcast of the JLP annual conference at the National Arena on Sunday, November 24, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Mayor's Parlor will not be aired. Nationwide 90 FM apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Mondays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
The Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its awards ceremony for Area 2 Transforming Our Police Services TOPS competition on Wednesday, November 27, 2024. The TOPS program, established in 2019, is aimed at increasing compliance with Jamaica Constabulary Force policies and procedures. Additionally, the program seeks to boost the morale of police officers. The program is comprised of 4 phases: the TOPS Area Competition, the TOPS Area Award Ceremony, Area Performance Review Meeting, and Re-Inspection. Join Cliff Hughes online from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we broadcast live from the TOPS Award Ceremony, Wednesday, November 27, 2024, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Police Civilian Oversight Authority.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're on by-election watch. Counting is happening now across the 4 by-elections that happened across the island. You know them, Northwest St. Andrew, here in the corporate area, also South Trelawney. The 2, though, that everybody is paying keen attention to, those divisional by-elections, Morant Bay in East St. Thomas, Ainan Town in North Clarendon. The polls closed at 5. The votes have been trickling in, and we're trying to keep on top of it.
Everyone is on edge, Ricardo.
Absolutely.
I have had members of both
political parties, or supporters, I should say, saying that they're on edge.
So let's go to East St. Thomas, where we have our reporter Damien. Damien, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Ricardo.
Right, so Sanjay is with me as well.
Sanjay.
Yeah. So tell our listeners where you are and what's happening.
All right, so we are currently in the Paul Bogle Square at the counting office. The counting is taking place. A number of supporters of the PMP are now on location. Earlier on, it was just a limited amount of persons, but now whole crowd of them are on location, or if I can put it that way. Everyone is just waiting. Police officers and soldiers are on the outside. They are ensuring that the boxes are entering into the counting division as safely as possible. So that is what we're seeing on the outside just now. So persons are around waiting. Earlier on, we heard some commotion because persons are excited and they're confident that their party is leading currently. So that's what's happening on the outside. Earlier on, I was observing what was taking place in the counting division as the boxes are coming in, and we also see the representatives of both parties inside also making their own notation as they're grasping the numbers.
And what are those numbers saying? What the counting has started, preliminary counting. What are the numbers coming out?
Well, I haven't had a preliminary total, but from what we've been hearing and recording so far, in the earlier part of the evening when counting began, we were seeing some of the votes more swinging towards Downey, and then in just about 5
And those would have been
of the
specific
GLP.
boxes.
Right, boxes, right. The boxes that are coming in, and they're now recording that. But in the last 5 minutes, the numbers seem to be picking up for sure. So we're still monitoring what's happening in that area.
All right.
Have you been able, Damien, to get an idea of how many boxes are remaining to be counted?
Not as yet. I'm just waiting until I get the clearance from one of the returning officers, who are pretty much busy right now, to get an idea of how many boxes are left. But what I can say is that at the start of the counting, the boxes were coming in slow, but now they are coming in very rapidly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Damien Scarlett, there in the Morant Bay Division in East St. Thomas. We go now to Northwest St. Andrew, where Kalicia Wright is. Good evening, Kalicia.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, listeners.
All right. What's happening in Northwest St. Andrew?
Okay, so I'm currently at the Pembroke Hall Community Center. That's where the counting center is for this election. So they were waiting on all the boxes to come in before the counting process. Before they start the counting process, I think all boxes are in now, and they are about to start that process as we speak. So no numbers for the listeners as yet.
And you said no numbers for the listeners as yet. What else are you seeing?
So security personnel are here. They're monitoring the area, ensuring that the boxes are secure, that it's being transferred properly. Yes, so that's what I'm seeing so far. I'm not seeing any supporters on the premises. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're at the constituency office, but so far we're just waiting on that counting process to begin.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Kalicia. Let's go to Shaloy, who is now in South Trelawney. Shaloy?
Hi, Ricardo. Good evening. Good evening to our listeners. The rain is falling here, so the boxes are coming in slower than expected. So far, we've only counted approximately 28 of the 96 boxes so far. The numbers are maybe too soon to tell. I haven't been able to tally the numbers as to the amount that's given to Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert versus the independent candidate Lloyd Gillings as yet. Boxes are coming in as we speak, but they're coming in slowly because of the rain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are you seeing any of the candidates?
No, so Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert and Lloyd Gillings are at the center here, and they have their supporters on the outside. As soon as one box goes in the favor of one, you'll hear the shout from one person, from one group. And so, as I said, it's coming in slowly but surely.
And Shalai, one of the things that we have also been hearing is that the independent candidate is performing a little better than expected.
He is performing better than expected, and his supporters are here cheering him on. So as soon as the numbers come in where he's seemingly in the higher rank, then you will hear the scream.
All right, there. Thank you. Shall I keep us updated on that?
Will do.
Thank you.
All right, Sanjay. I mean, I would have expected that this counting would have been happening a little faster.
Faster, yes.
Yeah, but let's go to the break. Let's go to the break, Bugs, and come back with more.
New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning offers high-quality detail cleaning and home improvement services. They cater to residential and commercial properties. They clean from the ceiling to the floor. They clean sofas, mattresses, carpets, and chairs. They deep clean and restore all floors. They repair and restore roofing. They do tiling, general paintings, drywall works, and other carpentry services to include property renovation. Call them 876-384-9313. Follow them at New World Detail Cleaning and Home Improvement.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Upgrade your HVAC system with Geddes Refrigeration Limited. They specialize in engineering, project design, and implementation of the perfect system tailored to your home or business. For top-notch service and unbeatable reliability, trust Geddes Refrigeration Limited. Email them at grljasocialmedia@gmail.com or call 876-923-652-123 or visit 226 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11. Don't wait. Stay cool with Geddes Refrigeration Limited today. Your comfort is their priority.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Due to the live broadcast of the JLP annual conference at the National Arena on Sunday, November 24, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Mayor's Parlor will not be aired. Nationwide 90 FM apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We are having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really Clip You Stalky?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Clip News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth, don't miss it.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
Like a dream come true, just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
3 minutes to 7, and we can tell you now, listeners, that it's over. The counting is complete. Let me tell you, in St. Andrew Northwestern, as expected, Dwayne Smith has been elected the Member of Parliament, 1,863 votes. He takes 94.4% of the votes. In Southern Trelawney, Marissa Dalrymple Philbert is headed back to the Parliament, 3,751 votes. She takes just about 74% of the votes. The People's National Party has swept both divisional by-elections. The PNP has prevailed in the Annan Town division, 1,646 votes for Delroy Dawson, 50.8% of the vote. He defeats Suzette Barton, who was able to turn out 1,592, 49.2% of the votes. In Morant Bay, Rosemary Shaw has also defeated Winston Downey. Rosemary Shaw has recorded 2,096 votes, taking 51.4% of the ballots cast. Downey manages 1,978, 48.6, call it 47% of the votes. We have with us Sanjay Cliff Hughes. This is significant. The People's National Party managing to win the two contested elections this evening. Of course, in Antown, significant. That's a margin of 54, if my math serves me correct.
And also, Ricardo, with Annan what's now going to happen is that there's going to be a tie in that municipal corporation, and the PNP will
take control
of it because they had the popular vote.
Cliff Hughes is with us. Good evening, Cliff Hughes.
Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Sanjay, and good evening to the listeners.
Mark Golding must be happy.
The two local by-elections results represent a win for Mark Golding's People's National Party. Let us go through them first with Annan Town. What the PNP has done is to flip Annan Town, having lost it 9 months ago in February of this year by only 92 votes. They have now turned around a 92 vote deficit to what? A 54
by my count, yeah.
Margin. Yes, that's a turnaround for the PNP. And that represents a win for them, and they must take comfort in that tonight because they put out all the stops. It was a full-throated battle between the machines of both political parties, and the PNP has prevailed by a slim margin, but it is a flip. To turn it around, having lost it by 92 in February, represents a win for the PNP. Yes. In Morant Bay, it's a little different because the PNP went in with a majority of just over 400, and they have been able to hold Morant Bay with a margin. I do have the numbers in front of me. It's about 80, 90 vote margin.
Yeah, I'm doing the calculations.
Yeah.
Go on, Cliff. Go on.
It's a smaller margin than they came out of February's local elections with. So it means that the JLP has narrowed the gap and made gains in Morant Bay against a veteran of local politics in St. Thomas, and in particular Morant Bay, the former mayor of Morant Bay, Rosemary.
It's 118.
118, yes.
118.
Imagine coming down from just about 400.
Yes.
Yeah, about 420, it was. So that represents a gain for Labour, in terms of the margin. But the PNP has held on to Morant Bay, and they will take comfort from that as well. It's a good night for the opposition, and the Labour Party has more work to do, a lot more work to do.
Yeah, and in terms of the control of the municipal corporations now, Sanjay indicating quite correctly that with this result in Annan Town, it means the People's National Party will be able to take control of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation because there will now be a tie, and the popular vote result was in favor of the opposition People's National Party in February. So if I could just pull up the results from February now, I think it would mean that the People's National Party now controls the majority.
Yeah.
Yes,
of
because
the
they won
municipal.
in February.
Right.
Yes.
Based on the outcome of February, they had the majority in the popular vote, and they have a majority now of 50 odd in Annan Town. So yes, the PNP now takes control of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation from the governing Jamaica Labour Party. It means that Joel Williams will no longer continue as mayor and chairman of the Clarendon municipality, and that is going to be music to the ears of the comrades.
Yes. And Cliff, a much needed boost again for Mark Golding coming from the local government election and again proving himself being the president of the party to take them through this by-election to win.
Yes, because these two contested by-elections, we haven't spoken about the parliamentary by-elections yet. What's the turnout for South Trelawney? The turnout for South Trelawney was much better than it was for Northwest St. Andrew, especially the turnout for Northwest St. Andrew is bad news for Labour. Yeah, because we know they have problems in Northwest St. Andrew. Yeah, Dwayne Smith was not the kind that would set the place on fire. Yeah, in terms of support, there were serious reservations about his suitability. Yeah, based on his record as councillor. And the fact that the Labour Party turnout in Northwest St. Andrew mean that voter apathy was very, very strong. And Labourites in Northwest St. Andrew didn't even bother to turn out. Yes? So that's another bad sign for the Labour Party because they were expected to win Northwest St. Andrew. But what we were watching for is the level of turnout, the extent to which you can mobilize your voters to come out. Yes, given the fact, the reality, the voters would be not so enthused or motivated because the PNP were not in the contest and they know it would not result in a change in government at the national level. You have to factor that in. But I make the point because Andrew Holness's Jamaica Labour Party has a problem. 9 months going into a general election. Coming out of February and tonight, they have not been able to energize, to bring up the base of the Labour Party support. We saw it in February, and we're seeing it tonight. And we heard today in that voice note that was leaked by the councillor for the Raytown Division, Rosalie Hamilton, Labourites are not happy with the government.
And if I could just say, Cliff, before I pose another question to you, strictly speaking, the People's National Party does not, let me just correct that, does not take control of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. A mayor is already in place. The mayor does not demit office. What would need to happen is a vote of no confidence would have to be moved. And with a tie, the People's National Party would not prevail. So the information I'm receiving...
The JLP would not prevail, you mean?
The PNP would not prevail in thank you. The PNP, yes, the PNP would not prevail in removing the mayor. So the mayor remains in office. That is the information. It does not disturb the election because a mayor is already in place. But I want gentlemen to sort of step back for a second because I heard the conversation that yes, this is a win for Mark Golding undoubtedly and the People's National Party. But these two divisions are traditionally strong division for the People's National Party. And I wondered, Cliff, based on that fact and based on the results, narrow margins, how much can we extrapolate to the national level in terms of the outcome?
One has to be careful how much you extrapolate, but the local realities, take them one at a time, in and town, at a time when the PNP was gaining across the country in February of this year, yes, the PNP lost a traditional PNP local division by 92 votes. 8-9 months later, it has won it. It has regained it. Now, at this level, it may be due to a number of factors, including the personal pull of the late councillor who won it for the JLP in February. In these local elections, the pull of the candidate, yes, can make all the difference, especially with a 92-vote margin. It's a small, slim margin.
Right.
So we don't know if it was the pull of Mrs. McFarlane that carried
McLeod McFarlane,
over the line. Yeah, in February. Suzette Barton, a new candidate, not unknown in the division, but may not have the same pull as the late councillor did. Yes, but the fact is, the PNP has reason to be celebrating, to be smiling, because we know the trend. If you have your political nose to the ground in Jamaica today, yes, the Labour Party is behind. Yes, the country is in an opposition mood, an anti-government mood. Yes, and they are behind. We know, I've said, they have a problem with their base. Labourites are discontented with how they've been treated, by their party, So there's an anti-government mood, and I think that is the tide the Labour Party is swimming against this evening. Why they couldn't make it over the line and to hold in on town and to flip Morant Bay.
Mm-hmm. And so, come tomorrow morning now, obviously, the Labourites messaging me so far, they are saying, they're seeing hopeful signs, as you rightly said, Cliff. The margin in Morant Bay came down significantly.
Yes.
And they narrowly lost. But just before I pose that question, let me just go to Damian Crawford. We have him online. Good evening, Mr. Crawford.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. Your reaction to the outcomes tonight?
Of course, we're excited. We wanted to send the JLP to conference depressed, and we have achieved that. It would be a very sad conference on Sunday. I think they should postpone it and recover from this shellacking.
Did the win, Mr. Crawford, caught any of you in the party by surprise?
No. We are fully expectant of winning the next election. And it is the JLP that have the ability to call it, and they can't call it. That's because everywhere that we have lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will get. So they are in a spot of bother at this moment in time.
You described it as a shellacking. Is it really, though?
Well, 2-love. Any World Cup we'll be celebrating.
But surely the margins matter, Mr. Crawford.
No, my brother, in politics, the margins don't matter. As Lisa Hanna said, if you won by 32, you will skin your 32. So at the end of the day, we only need one to win. We were very strategic in how we approached it. We knew that we had a good margin over in St. Thomas. So we focused our energies and our effort in getting back in and town against a government who have government resources, who have government ministers, and they were beaten. But I don't have to go further than the fact that the Prime Minister can't call the election. So if they're confident, call it, and we could prove it in every other place that we want to prove it.
But the JLP narrowed the margin in the Morant Bay division. Isn't that something
because
to be
we strategically
about?
focused our effort in winning in and town? Because we don't care if we win by 1,000 or by 1. So therefore, our efforts were, if you look at the schedule for myself, for Mark Golding, for the faces of the party, they were concentrated in and town to carry home that victory. And we have carried home that victory.
Mm-hmm. And have you had word? I understand you're in and town now, yes?
Yes, I am in and town.
Mm-hmm. Have you had word from the party leader?
Yes, the party leader is also in and town. That is how strategic we were. That both of us and the expectations were in and town. Mm-hmm. The party leader is here. He can't talk to you right now. He's smiling from ear to ear, but he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us have a quick word with him.
Yeah, he's gone. Oh, I hear the sweet out the Prime Minister and Jones out of in and town.
Cliff?
Yes.
Any questions for Senator Crawford?
Yes, I would ask the Senator Crawford. It's instructive that what is emerging now from the PNP, you now see the PNP team on the ground. Is this a calculated decision now to involve you more, Senator Crawford, in the
to involve all of us?
Campaign?
I was very involved in the last local government as well. So if there's no election, there can be no judge of involvement.
Your profile in terms of positioning you.
Oh no, I was very similarly profiled in the last local government. There's no.
Hold on, Senator. Let him finish the question and then you answer, Senator.
Yes.
I'm
sorry?
Senator Crawford is being very humble with a lot of humility. Yeah?
I'm not hearing you very well, but as I said, we are excited, we're elated,
Carefully,
and we expect to win.
I'm saying that it is noticeable, listeners, that the PNP, quite rightly, politically, is stepping up their use and deployment of one of their most popular, members, Senator Damian Crawford. So you hear him talk, listen to what he said. The two of us, meaning the leader and himself, strategically placed. Yes, and you're going to see more of that.
And Wickham McNeil and Azan and
Crawford.
Philip
Damian
Caldwell.
Crawford.
Michael Phillips. But at the end of the day, the JLP spent 14 of the 28 accounts down here, and we were still victorious. So we only have to go against another 14.
All right, Senator. Oh, we seem to have lost him. Senator Damian Crawford there. The soundbite is obviously going to be send the JLP to its conference depressed. The Labourites will be gathering at the National Arena on Sunday. The Prime Minister said these by-elections were a warm-up act. A heats, he says. Yeah, heats. Didn't go very well. At all. We have some celebration video clip coming out of Morant Bay. The comrades are chanting, "Call it now, Andrew. Call it."
Hardly likely that they'll get their request.
Hardly likely. I think we may go down to the wire now. It's going to
go down to the very wire.
Because you don't call an election knowing what you now know, that you are behind. Yes, you don't. If you were to call an election now that is Andrew Holness, he will lose. Yes? So you don't call it now. He now needs every hour, to try to turn this around. Yes, the results tonight show that it's not all over for the JLP. Yeah, it's not all gone to the PNP. There's still much to fight for. It is still a close race. Yes, and the biggest challenge facing the Labour Party is how is it going to pull the base of the Labour Party, and not only the leadership or the mid-tier, but the base of the party. Yeah, that is the challenge facing it. Yes, it has a record on which to run, but it has not been very good at the politics.
And one of the things we have recognized, Cliff and Ricardo, when you listen to the Prime Minister on the number of meetings that they have been having across the country, the last one being at West Kingston, he said it. He made that appeal to the delegates, in a sense, to go out and sell the message. And if you listen to every speaker at that conference, it was the very same thing they were telling the delegates. We need you, in essence. We need you to go and sell that message. So I think that the party, they have recognized that they're in a spot of bother, and they have to now come together to fix that issue.
You're absolutely right. That's an excellent point, Sanjay. You listen to the Prime Minister's stump speeches all over the place. He said it in West Kingston last night. He said it in Portland a couple of weekends ago. He said it in St. Elizabeth as well, wherever he's going, because he knows they have been doing their audits, as he calls them, that the base of the Labour Party is not happy with their constituency leadership, as in members of parliament, with the government. They have a problem because Labourites feel that here the economy has made gains, but they're not seeing the benefits. And that is the challenge. They cannot beat a PNP that is united and energized with a base that is, we support our party, but they're not going out there full 100 to carry home the Labour Party. Yes?
And also, what Rosalie said in that leaked voice note, Cliff, very instructive. She said that some of the things that the leader have to be doing, the house to house, the leader of the party shouldn't have to be doing that. And that struck me, that there is a problem. And based on what she said, it's very evident.
And so then, gentlemen, my question would be, Cliff, you've seen several elections in this country. 9-10 months out until the general election is constitutionally due. Can it be turned around in that space of time? That is the question that keeps coming to my mind, and I can't there's no answer that's coming to me readily. And so I'm going to call on you now for the history and the experience in that. Has it ever been turned around in that relatively short space of time? Because there's a perception that once the Jamaican people have made up their mind, they've made it up. And that's that.
The difference, though, and I've been thinking about this as well because it has been concentrating my mind. And I'm trying to go back, 40 years, 44 years, 1980, the run-up to the 1980 general elections in October 30. Seaga and the JLP won the October 30, 1980 elections from about January 1979 with a gas price rats when Seaga, as he said famously, locked the country down tighter than a sardine can. Yes? And with those demonstrations of January 1979, for the rest of that year, from then Seaga was effectively running Jamaica. Yes? It never got better, for Michael Manley and the PNP. So by the time we got to 1983, the Grenada Revolution, or not revolution, the implosion of the Grenada Revolution when Maurice Bishop and several of his cabinet members were killed. And Seaga called a snap election because by 1982, the Carlstone polls were indicating that Michael Manley and the PNP were back from being politically dead 2-3 years earlier. And Seaga saw an opening. He had played a leading role in the U.S. invasion with Eugenia Charles of Dominica, in inviting the Americans to come into Grenada and the Caribbean. And he got a bump in the polls, the stone polls. And he called a snap election based on the premise of some statement the late Paul Robertson made, and the PNP and Michael Manley refused to contest the elections, the snap elections of December 1983. It never helped Seaga after that because Michael Manley had so reorganized the PNP that by 1986, the local government elections of 1986, the PNP had swept those elections, straight down into the general elections of February 1989, when the PNP ramped home again with Michael coming back to power. This is after Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, where Seaga did a fantastic job, in recovering, rebuilding after the shutdown and devastation of Gilbert. And he lost. And then since then, 1989, right up until 2006, the PNP was in power for nearly 19 years, unbroken years. Michael fell ill, retired. PJ took it over, led the party to wins in 93, 97, 2001. Until Seaga finally got the message, made way for Bruce Golding. And Bruce Golding reorganized the Labour Party into a competitive force and eked out a narrow win in 2007. Then Golding, having assumed leadership of the country in 2007, came apart with the Dudus affair. You recall the Dudus affair?
Yes.
Yes.
And he resigned, when he refused to go with the American demands for the extradition of Dudus Cook. And it became inevitable by then that he could not win. And he realized that and turned it and gave it to Andrew Holness. But by then the die had been cast. So the PNP won 2011 elections. After that, the JLP, under Holness's leadership, by the way, Holness led them to defeat, in 2011. Portia Simpson Miller was Prime Minister, and she was having no ends of problem, we know Portia was Portia, personally popular, but widely regarded as being unable, to lead the complexities of a Jamaica in 2011, 2012, lack of command of the issues. So there were always questions about her capacity and capability to lead. Yeah, and Wholeness, with a reorganized Labour Party, made it home in 2016. So the long and short of that, gentlemen, fast forward to 2024. For the first time, we have a government into its second term, coming to the end of its second term, looking a third term, and the economics, the political economy, is not bad. I said it. The Wholeness administration is the only administration, and I ask people to challenge me on this, with the best economic performance on which to seek a third term. No previous administration, no previous government has had this ability to say, listen, we did A, B, C, D. Yeah? The question we're talking about now is not its record of performance, is whether the performance has been such so that people can feel it. Feel it.
And
don't forget now, the messaging, unlike what it was 10, 15 years and prior, was not a noisy, convoluted message with a noisy social media place. Yes? And I think that is the problem the Labour Party is facing. Its message is not getting through. It has been so fixated on getting the economics right. It has forsaken, the politics. And that is what they're trying to do now. How to fix Belmont Road, to get the MPs reconnect with the people. I don't know if they have the time. But the fact is, the PNP under Mark Golding has not articulated a vision of why Jamaicans should vote for them. What they've articulated and done very well is to exploit and point out the pain points in the country. Issues to do with corruption, crime, roads, health. Look at the PNP strategy. They have not articulated a platform that you can say, I like that. I'm going to vote for that. They've given you all the reasons why you should vote against the Wholeness, while Wholeness has the upper hand in saying why you should vote for us. But incumbency, after 8 years, 9 years, people get tired of you unless you are doing fantastically well and making them feel, that listen, I have skin in this game. Too many Jamaicans don't feel that they have a skin in this game.
Let's go to Marlon Morgan of the JLP's Communication Task Force. Marlon Morgan, Senator Damian Crawford says the PNP has been successful now in sending the labor rights to conference depressed. Is that true?
Good evening, gentlemen. Let me say good evening to your listeners.
Good evening.
We want to take the opportunity first and foremost to commend the two newly elected members of Parliament and the two newly elected councillors, Rosemary Shaw and what's the surname of the gentleman in Anantown again? I'm skipping just now.
Dawson. Delroy Dawson.
Very well, Mr. Dawson, on their victories early this evening. You see, Damian Crawford and I are familiar with an institution where we are taught very early that the brave may fall, but never yield. The truth of the matter is that it is easy to look at the outcome in terms of the results of today's elections and think, as far as the JLP is concerned, that there's reason to be, immersed in doom and gloom. But I view it another way, and I'll just share that with your listeners in the minutes ahead. The truth is that in Anantown, we had a candidate who would have been fairly new in terms of candidacy. We know that Anantown has traditionally been supportive of the PNP, Indeed, the PNP's candidate, Mr. Dawson, is someone who has served in a previous dispensation as the councillor there. And so we had the deceased, former councillor who won in February. And so our candidate, Suzette Barton, didn't make it home this time around. But the truth is that relative to her opponent, she was more of an unknown quantity, though we gave it our best shot. Obviously, these results aren't what we would have been hoping for, certainly in terms of the divisional contest. But we are going into conference seized as to what is required and very mindful of where we are. As I said a while ago, these aren't the results we would have hoped for. And so it may appear as though, our spirits would be a bit deflated and whatnot. I mean, it's a part of life. In politics, there can only be one winner. We know that when we go into these contests, the stakes are high because there's no second place in politics. But that notwithstanding, we are focusing on the mission ahead. We are going to be attending upon the national arena on Sunday in our numbers. We're going to be turning out in droves, and we're going to be hearing from our party leader and the support cast. The chairman of the party, the general secretary of the party, and other key functionaries as to why it is that the Jamaican people, Cliff, following on what you said precisely a while ago, should appreciate and buy into the JLP's platform and the direction in which we are proposing to take Jamaica and the performance that we have placed on the board these past 8 going 9 years.
But Marlon,
does not have a platform, we do.
But Marlon, you've been the JLP that is selling that message since at least the start of this year consistently. In these by-elections, you're the party in government with the command of the entire state apparatus. All the JLP bigwigs fanned out in Annan Town, in Morant Bay, and even with all of that, you still couldn't win. You're saying that this is the result you expected. You really expect the Jamaican people...
My friend, Ricardo, the JLP, I can't speak for any other political party in Jamaica, but we go into elections to be competitive and more so to win. Certainly, Annan Town was in play. It is a division that we went into the elections having won in February, and therefore we would have intended, and certainly we went at it to secure victory. Yes? Now, in Morant Bay, we know that is a division that traditionally supports the PNP and votes in droves for the PNP. And the outturn this evening would demonstrate and signal that certain strides have been made in that space. But as I said before, there's no second place in politics, so we're not going to fixate on that. But let's be very clear. I am in no way telegraphing to your listeners that we did not go into these elections to win. We gave it our best shot. Our candidates we recognize. When you think, for example, of Rosemary Shaw, no stranger to Eastern Jamaica. When you think of her relative to Mr. Downey, she has more of a name recognition. She has more of a presence in the space. Our candidate is of relatively recent vintage, and so those are some of the dynamics at play. And I want to just make it very clear, gentlemen, that all politics is local. So yes, we are the party in government, in central government. We are the party which boasts ministers of government and big wigs, as it were, in terms of persons who would essentially have the apparatus of state behind them. But as I said before, all politics is local. When you juxtapose the two contestants in Annan Town, you find that someone who had served prior.
So you're saying this is a consequence of your candidates not being well known enough?
It's a number of factors.
It sounds like you're saying that's the primary factor.
Well, Ricardo, let's not jump ahead of ourselves.
No. I'm just seeking to clarify. Are you saying that is the primary factor in this?
I'm citing that as one of the takeaways and one of the realities in terms of these contests, because the truth is, it's early days yet. The JLP, obviously from the level of its secretariat, will be delving into these numbers, dissecting them in a sober and instructive way to get a better sense as to, all right, what we could have done differently, where we went wrong, because we're mindful of the fact that not too far from now, there's going to be the big one. And as I said before, the brave may fall but never yield.
There seems to be a problem, though, Marlon, with the party, and Cliff said it earlier. The party is doing well and the government is doing well at the macro level. But as you mentioned, all politics is local. The message seems not to be communicated properly among the grassroots persons within the different constituencies and the division, and you're evidently failing at that. Is that something that you guys have recognized, and what is being done to try and fix that problem?
I wouldn't
Just before you start, Marlon, just before you come in, Marlon, just to make the point, when we speak of message, Sanjay, let us be very clear what we're talking about. It's not only articulating, the successes, but also connecting with your base. If you are listening to the ground in Jamaican politics, you have too many JLP constituencies where members of parliament have been disconnected and dissing their people.
Cliff?
Yes, sir.
Oftentimes, when you present at your doctor's office or at hospital, for example, with a medical complaint, what they will seek to do is to undertake a diagnosis, and that may involve sending you to do some form of screening, yes, or some form of scan to seek to ascertain what the issue is. When following the JLP's performance in February, where we came out marginally on top in terms of the municipal corporation count relative to the PNP, though we came out behind in relation to the number of municipal divisions that were held, we decided to go about things in an empirical way. And I would have spoken to you earlier today during Cliffuse Online that the party is at a point now where it has completed its study and its work in terms of surveying its membership and the party supporters as to some of the issues that are at play and what the party ought to be doing differently. So the first thing we have done is that in an objective and empirical way, we have sought to go out and ascertain the data. We are now further from that in terms of being at a point where we have recognized that just the quality of representation and the dynamic to representing people that some of our representatives bring to the politics leaves much to be desired. And the truth is that we're working assiduously in that regard, and the Prime Minister conveyed as much in West Kingston last evening that tough conversations have been had with some of our representatives. They know what the bar is, they know what the deficits are, and we are seeking at this point to put together a protocol of sorts where they are seized as to what precisely they should be doing to effect the requisite turnaround in their respective locales. Because as I said before, all politics is local. The government has been performing tremendously well in terms of stabilizing the economy, providing or creating the environment that job growth can ensue, so much so that unemployment at present is at record lows. So we are performing well on the government side of things. On the political side of the equation, we are essentially, having diagnosed the problem better, we are seeking to do what is required to close the deficits.
Marlon?
Yes, Cliff, I'm with you.
Do you have the time? The window is closing. Do you have the time? The economy just contracted by 3%, 2.8% in the July to September quarter. Are you going to have the fiscal space, yes, to make an impact, yes? Are you going to have the fiscal space to pull off another 1.5 as you did, some time ago, with the fiscal numbers going to be tightening? Do you have the time?
Well, they will tell you, Cliff, that a day in politics is a long time. That is one of the questions that occupies my mind as well. Just the sheer time span and the time horizon in all of this, considering when the next general elections are constitutionally due. So it is a question that will always occupy the mind of political strategists and pundits and commentators like yourself. And so it's a live one. The truth, though, is that in terms of whether the government can effect certain turnaround, I want to communicate to your listeners this evening that in terms of the government's program of work, the people of Jamaica can rest assured that in the upcoming 2025-2026 budget, as it has done in the past, the government will be working assiduously and crafting programs that are people-centered and serving to advance the interests of the broad cross-section of the Jamaican people. It may not be 1.5 or moving, in relation to that. But what is for sure is that we will continue to be responsible and continue to give back to the Jamaican people, because we recognize that it is one of the catalysts for growth and causing people to do better at the level of the household economy, because it's always, politics is always a function of how people feel, how they are doing in their pocketbooks and their checkbooks. And we're very mindful of that.
I don't think we've asked you this question. Why weren't the organization, the machine, and the personnel deployed in and town unable to take you over the line tonight?
To come away with a comprehensive and complete assessment as to why the outtake from in and town this evening is as it is. We will, in the days ahead, embark on that. Just in terms of my cursory and preliminary observations, we would have mobilized. We are, a team of persons who, are seasoned, politicians and political strategists. So a considerable degree of human resources would have been mobilized and fanned out across the in and town division in terms of helping to pull out the vote, and we did that. If you consider what we polled in February relative to what was polled this evening, it is appreciably north of that. It represents an increase on that. However, what I'm saying is that not to be discounted or left out of the conversation, or indeed the consideration as to what transpired today, is the fact that when you juxtapose candidates, we have a candidate, Suzette Barton, who was relatively new in terms of her candidature. And importantly, you had a gentleman, Mr. Dawson, who is relatively a more known quantity in this space.
But Marlon, it really came down. Yeah, I think it was more than the candidacies of Mr. Dawson and Miss Barton today. This was a hand-to-hand fight between Art Golding's PNP and Andrew Holness's Labour Party. The two leaders were in there. It wasn't about Miss Barton anymore, or Mr. Dawson for that matter. Similarly, in Morant Bay, some of your top political people were there.
But remember, these are features of by-elections, and I'm not unmindful of that.
To bring them over the line, to bring your candidates over the line. Yes.
Cliff, gentlemen, I am not unmindful of the fact that the very nature of by-elections, we saw it in Southeast St. Mary, we saw it in Portland Eastern, we have seen it time and again, that the entire, kitchen sink is thrown at this thing. The parties typically mobilize their, all their assets, human resources and otherwise, in terms of the contest, as we would have done this time around. We did it essentially in and town, and we did it in Morant Bay. Yes? Now, what you have to appreciate is that there is a premium that is to be placed on, essentially the degree to which constituents are familiar with a candidate, as we are now seeing in the case of Ian and Town, and as we have seen as well in the case of Rosemary Shaw, notwithstanding our credit to the performance in Morant Bay.
Not in these two instances at all. Yes? The whole country, including your supporters, non-supporters, PNP supporters, non-PNP supporters, knew, what politically was at stake. And that is why the leaders were there, your top people were there, you pulled out all the stops, and you just didn't make it. And you know why? The environment is one of anti-government. And that is what you have to deal with at the macro level to get the country to feel again. Yeah? As they did some years ago, that Holness and the JLP, are the better team, yes, the better people with the better policies. If you're not able to turn around that environment, then it's going to be pushing rock up a mountain.
Cliff, it would be remiss of me, and it would be asinine of the JLP to not, subscribe to the comments you made just now in terms of just the importance and urgency of the task of, messaging, causing the Jamaican people to be brought into, our confidence, and importantly, impacting their lives in ways that would cause them to find political favor with the JLP and express that in terms of their voting behavior. Yeah? Now, the truth is that you can, at a point such as this, when the election outturn doesn't go in your favor, you can perhaps despair or view the situation as a crisis situation, or you can do what myself and my colleagues are minded to do at a juncture such as this, which is to seize the opportunity in the moment. And we have been well placed, even prior to this round of by-elections, we have been well placed in that regard, in that we literally went out post-February 2024 and sought to hit the pavement and do it in a robust and methodical way to interface and check in with our people to ascertain, all right, what would you like to see done differently? And they told us in no uncertain terms to focus attention on the quality of the representation, to ensure that our people are more dignified and respectful in their representation and interface with them. Persons who would want to hide away from the constituents and don't go into the place and check in with the people and drive past them at the bar and at the corner shops with the window wound up. These are some of the things that emerged from the survey instrument. Mm-hmm. And so, to begin your whole, remedying and closing of the deficit, you have to start with the data set. And we have done that. And I believe, as the Prime Minister has articulated several times over when he's on the political stumping over recent weeks, we are well down the wicket where that is concerned. And the question is still left hanging as to whether it will be enough in terms of just the sheer time horizon. But we are not despairing. We are forging ahead. We are essentially, tweaking certain aspects of our strategy. We are moving, as the Prime Minister articulated on Tuesday, in a more focused way now toward ushering in the level and setting the stage for the ushering in of the robust levels of economic growth that will generate revenues to help deliver more goods and services and government programs to the people of Jamaica. Because ultimately, all of this comes down to water systems. It comes down to road network. It comes down to programs that helps the indigent. It helps the elderly.
And it comes down also to greater coordination between government and party to deliver the people on the ground. I keep on pointing to history. March 2001, the PNP was shocked. Why? Shahini Robinson, political neophyte, Fiaga plucked from St. Anne's to contest the by-election, triggered by the resignation of Danny Melville. The PNP and Patterson, knew they were in a contest. They threw everything at it. Fiaga and the Labour Party and Shahini won. That by-election was decisive. It marked the beginning of the return of the Labour Party after the defeat of February 1989. How did the Prime Minister and PNP leader at the time respond? You know what he did? He decisively called the leadership of his party and said to two of his best political organizers, two senior cabinet ministers, Maxine Henry Wilson and the now late Dr. Paul Robertson, took them out of the cabinet and said, you are going to go to 89 Old Hope Road, and your job, 24/7, 365 days for the next however long, to ensure that we do not lose the next general election. By 2002, the PNP was in a shape that it prevailed in the elections of 2002. Narrowly, if my memory serves me correctly, their majority came down to about 8 seats. Who in the Labour Party, which of their top senior political organizers is prepared to give up ministerial office and the trappings that go with it, the status quo that goes with it, to go plant themselves at Belmont Road and work every day to coordinate, what is available through government, that we have a problem getting to the people so that their pain points are reduced and the misery index is reduced. I leave you with that.
Marlon Morgan, thank you so very much. We're going to go to the opposition leader, Mark Golding, who addressed jubilant supporters in Ainantown. Thank you so much, Marlon. I appreciate your time as always. Yes, man.
A word to the wise is sufficient. Thank you so much.
All right. Mark Golding in Ainantown.
To bear in this campaign on those two divisions. And we worked hard, and we did what we had to do organizationally, and the other side did what they do, which is a bit different to us. You know, they have resources, etc., that they brought to bear. But I was very happy that at the end of the day, the people decided to go with us. And I think it's a good day for democracy in Jamaica, because it shows that clean politics can still win in this country.
What you have to say to Andrew Holness tonight on his conference? He has his 81 conference set for Sunday.
The people of Jamaica want change. They want a different course to move forward with different leadership. We have a leader who is compromised. His Integrity Commission declarations can't be certified. There are 8 persons, of which he is one, who are under investigation for illicit enrichment. The country cannot be run by a government with that cloud hanging over it. Time come for change, and we want elections now.
So the polls are showing that the PNP is way ahead in terms of popular support. Is this win a reflection of the pulse of the Jamaican electorate in your estimation?
What this win reflects is that with the benefit of the popular support that we have nationally, and the strength of our organization on the ground as a united political movement under my leadership, we are unstoppable.
The opposition leader and PNP president there, Mark Golding, speaking with journalists in Ainantown. And Cliff Sanjay, clearly, he is confident, self-assured. You heard him, we want elections now. Saying that Andrew Holness cannot continue as Prime Minister for the reasons he listed there. He says, essentially, call it now.
Yes, and that was predictable, because the political dynamics in the country are such that if you are the opposition, yes, you have the advantage now. You are going to press, and it's going to get increasingly difficult for the government, to pull off the program that the Prime Minister wants, with the opposition breathing down your neck. And you can take that pressure for so long and no more. It's going to get increasingly difficult from here. If there is no discernible turnaround in the popularity of the government.
Yeah. All right. Cliff Hughes, we'll continue to watch these developments. Thank you so much.
Oh, should I share with the listeners what you told me this afternoon before I left the office? Goodbye.
I heard that you were clamoring to come on, so I granted you your request. Please. I heard you were just at dinner. So I said, very well, allow him.
No.
So you had your moment in the sun.
No. Not at all.
See you on Monday, Cliff Hughes.
Okay,
all the best.
Yeah. Sanjay, final thoughts before we close out what has been a momentous day for politics.
Yeah, you said something earlier that is very instructive, and I've been thinking about it. Can the JLP claw back its support?
Yes.
Given the short time that there is, and there's no question about it, Ricardo. All of us who follow the politics know that this is going to go right down to the wire.
Yes.
But will there be enough time to turn the tide, especially because it's evident that the PNP is very organized? And we know based on the history that the PNP, they have a stronger base support than the JLP. That's known. The misery index is already very high in different constituencies. And while the government is doing well from the macro level, as we said earlier, can they now go into those constituencies, flip the tide to sell that message to the people in the constituency? And that is on my mind now, if that can really happen in such a short time. So as Cliff said, the next couple of months is going to be very interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see if the JLP can flip that. And also, that voice note from Rosalie Hamilton is very instructive. She highlighted many of the issues, the cracks that seem to be there within the party. And both parties, they have their cracks. But when she said about the leader having to be going into some of those constituencies, doing the work that the member of parliament should be doing, the house to house, that is also instructive. The leader can't do everything for the party. The MPs have to be doing what they need to do, which is the house to house, and reconnect with their constituents. And I'm not sure if time is on the side of the JLP.
The other evening, Siobhan and I were having a conversation, with the callers, as we usually do in this final hour. And one of the things we were saying was that, the time, and forgive me, the time has come for JLP supporters, members of parliament, councillors, to understand that the way they are communicating has to change. And they also have to appreciate that because the macro issues, the national issues, are going in the right direction, it cannot be taken for granted that the people on the ground have accepted that, have latched on to that, and are with that. And I said, and them cuss me, but I said, my interactions with just different people, just regular people, taxi men, students on the university campus, people at the supermarket, it tells me that that is not happening, that they have not latched on in the same way that JLP supporters are sort of just fixed on, tunnel vision, that this is how it's going to go, and the third term is a must, and Andrew Holness can't lose. And somebody said, well, prices are high everywhere across the world. You know what they say? They don't live everywhere across the world. They live in Jamaica. And that is not a statement on the correctness of that perception, That's not. I'm not taking a position as to whether that's right or wrong. I am telling you that that is what it is. And unless that is changed, where people start to believe that the issues affecting them, whatever they are, roads, cost of living, whatever it is, unless that starts to change, I'm going to say to the Labourites, take sleep, mark death. The pun wasn't intended. Dana Davey, thank you so very much. Appreciate you. So you know, say thanks. Oh. Andrew Glenn Anderson, the man behind the controls. Thank you, sir. Our colleagues in the newsroom, led by our editor, Cara Powell, the best in the business. Thank you all so much. Our sponsors, contributors, and you, our valued listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, wishing for you a wonderful evening. Good night.
You hear the news? AM Financial give them customers cash back for the Christmas. Cash back!